This Pride Month, we are introducing you to people from what some would call one of the most vulnerable communities in society, the transgender community. While diverse and complex, it's also sometimes misunderstood. The National Center for Transgender Equality says people fear what they don't understand. So we're kicking off Pride Month with a little history lesson.
Transgender athletes and transgender students.
Transgender pronouns.
This issue of transgenderism.
Transgender people, the hot topic of conversations in state houses and media across the U.S. The rhetoric scary for many, including Bo Shanik, a trans man.
I walk around very cautious.
He says some people think being trans is a new and unnatural concept.
He created them male and female.
But to historians, being transgender is not a new phenomenon.
Trans people have been around forever.
Transgender individuals have been in ancient literature written about.
Dana Oleskowitz and Shanik both study gender and LGBTQ+ studies at Kent State University.
There are cultures and societies across the entire world that have celebrated and recognized more than two genders for centuries. Hijras in South Asian cultures. We have two-spirit people in North American indigenous cultures. We have the Bisu in Indonesian cultures.
In Western culture, they say trans people have always been demonized because of religious beliefs and fear.
Society has struggled to understand, and what we don't understand, we tend to fear.
But in recent years, targeting of the trans community has intensified.
Trans Visibility Day.
Bills looking to ban gender-affirming care for minors, restrict bathroom use, and prevent trans women from playing in women's sports are popping up in multiple states nationwide.
And currently there are over 500 pieces of anti-trans legislation circulating throughout the country right now.
Including Ohio House Bill 68, the Save Adolescents from Experimentation or SAFE Act, passed in January of this year.
I totally reject that my bill causes people harm. I believe it protects people.
The trans community represents just about 2% of the nation, but consists of more than 2 million people. What's the biggest barrier to acceptance for trans people, in your opinion?
We have a merging of religion and politics happening right now. Most of the bills that are happening, if you look at them close enough, you can usually find an organization that is religious that's backing that.
Oleskowitz calls herself a born-again Christian.
The Bible is a book to guide us. It's not a medical book.
As an ally to trans people, she's hoping to bridge the gap between the LGBTQ+ and religious communities.
Many queer people are religious.
There's so much great literature out there that's written by the transgender community that really opens the door to understanding who they are and what they face in society.
Through education, scholarly articles, and encouraging empathetic conversations,
many of us are open to talking about our experiences and our stories.
Oleskowitz and Shanik hope to change the course of history. How do we go back to being a less polarized society?
Humanizing queer existence is so important. We are literally human beings just like everybody else.
And remind everyone,
we all deserve access to a happy, healthy life as our most authentic selves.
For Spectrum News, I'm Taylor Bruck. Earlier this month, we introduced you to PhD candidates studying gender and LGBTQ+ issues, working to debunk misinformation about the trans community. In this next story, we are introducing you to some people who say they don't fit the typical heteronormative boxes of female or male, and therefore use they/them pronouns. She, her, he, and him. The typical pronouns we hear every day to reference someone's gender. But what if you don't feel like those fit who you are? Or what if you're born with characteristics of both?
I am not the typical female, I'm not the typical male. I just fall somewhere between.
My son, sometimes he calls me mom, sometimes he calls me dad.
Meet Delia Sosa and India Hawley. Two very different people from different cultures and cities, but who both use they/them pronouns, as they is considered gender neutral.
They, them fits me more because that embodies my whole authenticity.
Assigned female at birth, Holly was adopted and raised by Native American parents.
I have facial hair. I've naturally always had that. I've naturally always had an Adam's apple, a deeper voice.
They're what's known as two-spirit, a term used in Native American culture to define someone who isn't male or female, but embodies both masculine and feminine souls. In Native American tribes, two-spirit people are praised and respected. They're known to be healers and leaders and have spiritual gifts.
Because we're able to relate to the males, we're able to relate to women. I know what it's like to go into a guy's restroom. I know what it's like to give birth.
In Cincinnati, medical student Delia Sosa is what's known as intersex, a term used to describe someone born with a combination of male and female biological traits.
I have some combination of hormones and chromosomes and anatomy that's different from what we expect to see in the typical male or the typical female. So intersex literally means between the sexes.
Also assigned female at birth, they say the pronouns she and her don't feel comfortable, as those pronouns don't reflect their full self.
My body doesn't fit into the male and female binaries, and neither does my gender identity. When I started using they, them pronouns, it just felt like it fit.
Sosa uses their social media to spread awareness about being intersex and using alternative pronouns.
My pronouns are they, them. I am a transgender and intersex medical student.
A soon-to-be doctor, they hope to provide health care to the LGBTQ+ community and decrease discrimination.
We're seeing a lot of intersex folks who aren't getting the care that they need and are actually getting some care that is harmful. We're seeing trans folks being unable to access care at all, depending on what state they live in.
As a life coach and Reiki master, Holly uses their two-spirit identity to help people embrace who they are and find a deeper meaning in life.
For the human being that they are, the life force that they carry, and having a purpose.
Through advocacy, education, and visibility, they hope people realize that no one person is the same.
Nature is a spectrum, bodies are a spectrum.
But that we all have the ability to love instead of hate.
The core similarity is love.
For Spectrum News, I'm Taylor Bruck. Earlier this month, we introduced you to people working to educate us on some of the history regarding transgender people. We also introduced you to people who are two-spirit and intersex and use they, them pronouns. In this next story, we are introducing you to someone in the LGBTQ+ community who is living their truth and through fitness is helping others live theirs. Rep by rep and lift after lift, Kel Haynes has built the body of his dreams.
I chipped away at this body for years. I chipped away on that Stairmaster. I used these iron plates and we made it.
But just like many other fitness journeys, it didn't come easy, especially being a transgender man. Haynes came out in 2017 at 27 years old. For decades, he says he hated what he saw in the mirror.
I have this memory and I'm like, I hate this body. Never thought I was gonna be able to take my shirt off and feel proud. And to be able to do that and have that freedom is just so life-changing.
As he transitioned, he began bodybuilding. In 2021, winning his first competition, competing against other trans men.
Bodybuilding and focusing on my fitness and nutrition has literally let me sculpt the man I want to be. I feel great in my body and I'm proud of it, finally.
4 years into the sport, he's now training for his first cisgendered competition in September.
It is a mainstream bodybuilding show, so I'll be competing with the wild world of men's bodybuilding.
Once a food microbiologist, Haynes now works full-time in fitness as a certified personal trainer.
Keep going.
Helping others, no matter their gender, build the body of their dreams all over the world.
Nice job.
One of his clients is his partner, Maddie Kaur.
Words can't even explain how proud I am. He makes such a big impact, I don't think he even really realizes it.
Haynes chooses to be visible about his journey in hopes that proximity breeds empathy.
It's really easy to hate behind a keyboard. It's really hard to hate up close. And I really want to be there to help change people's minds. I want to be the first trans person people know. If that's me, then cool, let's talk, man. Because I think there's more that binds us together, and then we have more in common than we have not in common.
Through helping people build their ideal body, he helps people build their ideal life.
What you can get through changing your body is that confidence that you can do what you want in this world. No one can hold you down.
Rep by rep and lift after lift, working to unite people through not just fitness, but love.
Personal training is just the best job in the world because you're really seeing people live their best lives and really make their own dreams come true.
For Spectrum News, I'm Taylor Bruck.